Tonight, we shall bring to you activities marking the burial ceremony of late Mrs. Grace Owonwu of Oranto Village, Dunukofia Council area. But before that, let's see the hard news first. My name is Maureen Stone Enujoke. Good evening. The head of service, Mr. Harry Udu, says the Obiano administration will continue to place high premium on the welfare of the citizenry, especially the workers. We have the details.
Receiving the executive members of the Nigeria Civil Service Union, Anambra State Chapter, who called on him in his office at the Jerome Udoh Secretariat Complex, Oka, Mr. Udu reassured the group that the state government will continue to accord priority to worker salary, pension and gratuity to retirees, and urged workers to reciprocate Governor Willie Obiano's commitment to their welfare by being alive to their responsibilities. Mr. Udu, a lawyer, while congratulating the newly elected executive members of the union, reassured them of the continued support of the government in all its programs. In a remark, the new vice president of the Nigeria Civil Service Union Southeast Zone, Mr. Jerome Iloku, while thanking the head of service for applying wisdom in piloting the affairs of the state civil service, maintained that the Nigerian Civil Service Union remains the oldest labor union and called on the state government to always support its programs. Earlier in a remark, the new chairman of the Nigeria Civil Service Union in Anambra State, Mr. Paul Uweze, who led the group to the visit, listed some of their problems to include lack of utility vehicle, among others, and called on the government to come to their rescue.
Christians have been urged to embrace the cross for their salvation. The Archdeacon of Agolo Group of Churches, Archdeaconry, and the Vicar of St. Stephen's Church, Agolo, Venerable Silas Ike, who made the call in a sermon during a church service, said that the blood shed on the cross of Calvary is supreme. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye has the details.
Venerable Ike explained that the blood cleans, liberates, and sets sinners free as Christ built the church with his blood, charging Christians to remain conquerors and victorious through the blood and forget about the sacrifice made to idols which has no value.
Through the blood of Jesus Christ, we know that the physical blood shed on the cross has a spiritual implication for us Christians. Through the shedding of the blood, the salvation of God has reached us.
Similarly, the parish priest of St. Andrew's Catholic Church, Adazinuhu, Reverend Father Michael Onwubiko, in his homily said Christ is the solution and answer to life challenges and urged Christians not to lose hope, for Christ is with them at all times, especially those who have faith. Reverend Father Onwubiko lamented that some Christians ran from pillar to post in search of solutions to their problems.
We should not lose hope. Let's continue my family ourselves, in our families, in our places of work, whatever we are doing, any misfortune in our lives, that should not lose hope. Christ is here to help us and make tomorrow be better in our lives, whatever we are doing. But we must have hope in Him.
In another sermon, the Vicar of St. Luke's Anglican Church, Agolo, Venerable Dr. Geoffrey Moloku, asked Christians to live in the fear of God and believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, which he said is the basis of Christianity. Meanwhile, the Bishop of Christland Family International, Oka, Bishop Silva Ede, has urged Christians to pursue God's promise and remain faithful. Bishop Ede said it is important for Christians to stop pursuing prophecy but trust solely in God.
Muslims and other religions fight for their God. We don't fight for our own God. Our God is more than able. He will take care of himself. Are you hearing me? Because the God the God I need to fight for cannot defend me.
Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
A trademark has been established for Anambra State agriculture produce to enable small-scale processors and fabricators key into the export initiatives of the state government. We have the details.
Addressing processors and fabricators of agricultural produce at the headquarters of Ministry of Agriculture, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Mr. Afam Mbanefo, stated that most of the processors who have no certification would be grouped together under strict supervision of the ministry. Mr. Mbanefo further explained that the ministry has proposed to set up farmers' display centers in major cities of Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, for produce such as Anambra garri, ugu, yam, honey and rice, adding that the ministry will collaborate with the processors and fabricators to drive the process of export of Anambra produce outside the shores of the state. The commissioner enjoined all processors and fabricators in the state to register and obtain identification numbers for easy communication. Also speaking, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Fadama, Mr. Obinna Efobi, stated that the ministry is proposing to develop a build linkage with fabricators, processors, off-takers and financial instructions, adding that the system will make farmers, processors and fabricators more active. In a vote of thanks, a processor from Omo, Mr. Paul Eguatu, commended the ministry for initiating the collaboration and for establishing a trademark for agri-produce from the state, and promised that the sky will be the farmers' limit.
Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) has called on agricultural processing stakeholders to get involved in standards elaboration by ensuring that measuring equipments are calibrated to ensure accuracy. An official of the organization, Lady Anne Osakwe, made the call during a one-day advocacy and awareness campaign on safety, health and sustainable environment at processing centers across the 5 participating IFAD VCDP local government areas. Agric correspondent Ebeleze reports.
The campaign, organized by the State Coordination Office of IFAD VCDP for its farmers in Oka, attracted rice and cassava processors from the benefiting local government areas. Addressing the participants, Lady Anne noted that agricultural produce need to meet food safety standards, consumer confidence and patronage, while urging them to test their produce in accredited laboratory and obtain certificate of analysis. Lady Anne asked them to avail themselves of standards relevant to their produce.
The process of carrying out factory inspection is to make sure that the processors meet up with the standard and make sure that what they are giving to the producer, what they are giving to the consumers meets with this standard we are talking about.
The Assistant Director, Consumer Education, Federal Competitiveness and Consumer Protection Commission Southeast Zone, Oka, Mr. Anthony Nwafo, who frowned at the recent increase of substandard and adulterated products in the society, said, due to the high demand and nutritional value of Anambra rice, dealers have started repackaging their rice in Anambra bag, while warning defaulters to desist forthwith, as the Commission will confiscate such goods on apprehension. Mr. Nwafo urged farmers to always monitor their produce to ensure that it remains safe until final consumption.
From what they learned today, I know that there will be a lot of change within the operations. In terms of protective measures, in terms of serving safe food on table.
The procurement officer IFAD VCDP, Mrs. Chika Obiemeka Awarambo, while urging the farmers to take proper care of their environment during processing, assured them of adequate provision of personal protective equipment to avoid contaminating their products.
So, as I said, we are trying to procure something to distribute to some of the facilities, where if the one will do, the facilities will now step it up.
The Agro-Processing and Quality Enhancement Officer, IFAD VCDP, and convener of the program, Mr. Bonaventure Mochebe, said the campaign was aimed at educating farmers on the ethics and principles required in processing for global standards. Some of the participants, Mrs. Anne Anerobi, a rice processor from Omo in Ayamelum local government area, Mr. Chukwualoka Onuzulebo, a cassava processor from Mbako in Oka North local government area, and Mr. Godwin Edoja, a rice farmer from Enoma in Anambra West local government area, while identifying lack of funds as their major problem, urged the IFAD VCDP to step down the training to community level. From the conference hall of the Agricultural Development Program Office in Oka, I am Ebele Eze reporting for ABS News.
The increasing number of beggars at some of the pedestrian bridges across the state has become a source of worry to Anambra. ABS correspondent Emengino Sadebe visited some of these bridges in Onitsha and its environs occupied by these beggars and discovered an increase in the number of children beggars with their mothers. Her report.
When ABS stormed the Oga Junction pedestrian bridge, which has a roof and other protective coverings around it, children ranging from 6 months to 11 years of age were at the bridge with their perceived able-bodied mothers begging for alms. On sighting ABS camera, they covered themselves with their umbrellas to avoid being captured. Some passerbys who spoke to ABS condemned the attitude of these women who have subjected their children to child labor under the scorching sun. They bemoaned the attitude of these women, which might affect the future of these children, and called on relevant authorities to wade in to save the children from being a threat to the society in the near future.
At the end of the day, you are supposed to struggle as woman. If you no get money like that, you carry market for head. If in a pure water, they sell to help your children.
Also at the MCC axis of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway pedestrian bridge, the story was the same. Most of the women were with about 3 to 4 children of about 11 years downwards. When ABS confronted them, they claimed to have fled from Abakaliki, Ebonyi State due to communal clash, saying that they lost all they have in the state clash. For little Miss Chisom, acquiring education and being useful to her parents have been her dream and pleaded for assistance. A self-acclaimed Abagana woman with 2 children who refused to disclose her full identity said she was forced to begging with her children because she was chased away from her village and forcefully took away her other 2 children, stating that she is not married. Some passerby in the area described the act of using children to beg for alms as child abuse and may have adverse effects on them, while some were of the opinion that the children were not theirs biologically. They called on the government to create jobs for these women to better their lots. Emengene Osadebe, ABS News.
Airlines in Nigeria and the rest of Africa recorded 2.5% in passenger traffic in February, the International Air Transport Association has said. The IATA, however, stated that the figure was lower than the 5.1% recorded in the region in January. The association, in a statement signed by its Director General, Mr. Alexandre de Jonic, said that year-on-year growth in international RPKs flown by airlines based in Africa halved in February from the solid 5.1% YOY pace in January to a more modest 2.5% in February. He said the global passenger traffic results for February 2019 showed that total revenue passenger kilometers rose by 5.3% compared to February 2018. He explained that this was the slowest rate of growth in more than a year, but still in line with long-term demand trends. And that's it on the hard news. We shall be bringing you inside the news in a short while. Stay on. This is Inside the News. Glad to have you. The death of beloved ones is always painful but cannot be avoided. One of the ways to honor the dead was to give them befitting burial, as witnessed during the burial ceremony of the late Mrs. Grace Ubongo at Oranto Village, Ukbo. Ngozi Abileri of Inside the News covered the burial ceremony of the deceased, who was the mother-in-law rather, of Mrs. Neka Ubongo of the ABS. Her report.
Burial ceremonies in communities in Anambra come in different ways. while some carry out all activities in one day. Some do it in 2 days, others 3 days, and some 4 days, depending on the rules guiding such activities in such areas. These rules are followed to the letter, such that whoever violates such rules is fined a huge amount of money. Narrowing our story on burial ceremonies in Ugbo, in Dunukọfịa local government area, Insider News attended the burial ceremony of late Mrs. Grace Ogbuonwu of Iruokwemene Kindred in Oranto village, Ugbo, whose burial ceremonies lasted for 4 days, beginning with the wake keep. On the second day, the burial ceremony kicked off with body of the deceased laid in state, when friends, individuals, family members, groups and organizations paid their last respect.
Jesus Christ. Anyị ekele gị Chineke pụrụ ime ihe niile. Anyị na-asọpụrụ gị ọbụna dị n'isi uru gị nwanyị, onye nke ọ masịrị gị na ọ ga-abịakwutere gị n'oge dị ka oge a. Anyị ekele gị ọbụna dị n'ezi ndụ nke o biri n'ụwa. Anyị na-asọpụrụ gị ọbụna dị n'ihi mmekọrịta ka anyị na ya mgbe ọ nọ n'elu ụwa. Onye nwe anyị na-asị ka ekele na nsọpụrụ gị ka ọ dịchasịara gị n'ihi na ọ dị gị ezi mma na uru gị ga-anakwute gị n'oge dị ka oge a.
Afterwards, the burial service commenced, where members of Church of Pentecost Ugbo trooped out in their numbers to bid one of their members farewell. Reverend Valentine Mbachi is the parish priest of the church.
Jesus na once comes here. Onye nwe mụ na gị. Anyị na-ekwu maka ọnwụ. Onye mbilite n'ọnwụ na ndụ. Sọọsọ ya siri n'eluigwe nlata. Nye ọmara ọkụ mmụọ, nye ọmara eluigwe. Adịghị ekwenye n'akụkọ a na-akọ ụbọchị ndị a niile.
The body was interred after the service, which gave way to condolence visits by friends and well-wishers. Top on the list were the ABS family, led by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Chief Uche Nwora.
All Anambra Broadcasting Service. But I say I will do Neka, who go on board all by an ABS. I don't know one of them, so we do to them. Well, we do more from Uche Nwora for NBC.
Ọ bụ ihe ikene nye Chineke na anyị na nwanne anyị nwoke mama ya nwụrụ bụ Bontus Boniface Ogbuonwu dị na ya na anyị na-ebi dịka ụmụnne. Ọ bụ ya ka anyị ji wee nụ na ma mmụọ ya arapụ kwa niile ka ọ bụ. Ife dị mkpa bụ ebe Chukwu mere amara. Ọ bụrụ ya na-akwa mama ya na ọ bụ ngọzi ka ọ bụ. More seriously, ọ ga-enwekwu ngọzi ọzọ because n'ozi ka o jere inekwa agadi wee bịakwa ya mee ife niile dị na ya adịrị izi. Onwe ndị na-agbarapụ nna ha ma nne ha mgbe ha bụrụ okenye. So anyị na-ekene unu. A na-asị ka Chineke kasị unu obi. Adịghịzi onwe mgbe i chetara ara ịnụ chọọ ka ifu ya practical ọ dọrọ unu. But the Lord will comfort all of you. Give me money.
Ọ dị anyị nwute na ụdị ọnwụ a nwụrụ kịta. Anyị anụghị ya n'ezigbo oge. Anyị ji wee atụ ụlọ ndo na ihe mere onye ọra jiri ero.
Ya ngwa na nwanne unu bụ Bontus Boniface Ogbuonwu na-anọ n'afịa. So what I don't know Macamia, I was sick, I got me earlier. Now, I will say I don't want to I just so you know, I quite one and one, I saw you one. So no, I see you. I soon be seeing that.
Other members of ABS management also gave their condolence messages.
For the life that Mama lived, she lived up to 82 years. In today's world, that's a huge blessing. We thank the family for hosting people that have come to sympathize with them today. So we're at the same time praying that God will comfort them and also replenish their pockets. You can see they've given their mama a befitting burial. And our prayer is that they will keep on living in peace and in unity.
I just feel that she should bear the loss with fortitude. It's not easy for somebody to lose loved one like this, especially in a time like this when they need her wise counsel. So I wish that she should take heart in all she's doing. Yes.
And that ends the second day. On the third day, in-laws especially used this day for their own condolence visits, one after the other. Families of those who married from the Obuongo family and those married into the Obuongo family arrived the burial arena bearing many gifts ranging from cow, signified by the rope, different types of drinks, yams, bags of rice, among many other items. This exercise on its own depicts the uniqueness of burial ceremonies in Igbo land.
me o ife daade e bo bata ko aka welo abako dibiem oko a do yo na ni mai no go e kire no ni mo ka cha
ife na aga mma ife na aga mma akunne kenango
Moving on now, late Mama's children took turn to explain who Mama was in her lifetime.
Mama believes bond. There's no kind of way. And what would be fun? Yaran woke ye. Yan Rambia. Or Yakoroku on. No one way female, who to the one of Wagivan. Sin if I made it to another one. You queer or Megalian. So what on so? What on so the line? And two on another. I know you should take a Kojalanyaka. Konya and Kianos not Gura, Buneko, Wong. On me for the Konya, Chipaka, or my young was here, Chipa.
100%. No, mother. Na Grace, Mugo, Ma. So now the 100%.
Mama boy and another mother, Goma. Mama, I got, yeah, I want to bite you. Ada agba iso onye ọbụla me nwunye nwa me nwa amụrụ ọ na-anabata even though na afụkarị nwunye nwa n'anya karịa nwa amụrụ n'afọ so na no ife mụnwa na-eme and onye batakwuo onye ọbụla bata mama sị ya ihe elikwe nri obugonyi n'ilie so right aka si eme.
Cynthia and Ugochukwu Obuonwu, on behalf of grandchildren, lamented their loss.
Mụ na mma bụ mma ifo m ifugo mma even oge ọnwụ ọmụ that young one without before learning omo toka na ewute m maka oge Christmas tinga bata nwuzi akara ya be na eme nja bata.
So she was so kind, generous and everything, so that's why we came to celebrate her. We missed her very, very, very much, but God knows the best. Yeah.
At the age of 82, the burial ceremony of late Madam Grace Obuonwu could be best described as celebration of life. No wonder her family mapped out 4 days to celebrate a life well spent. Insider News and the entire Anambra Broadcasting Service are saying, fare thee well, Mama Grace, till we meet to part no more. From Oranto village in Ukpo, Dunukofia local government area, I am Ngozi Obileri, reporting for ABS Insider News.
Yeah, Mama indeed fought a good fight and was given a befitting burial. And we want to reach out to the daughter-in-law and one of us, the Director of Finance, Lady Nneka Obuonwu. Take heart, may Mama's soul rest in peace. Amen. And that does it on Inside the News for tonight. But do remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And this is saying, have a good night and sleep tight. I am Maureen Stone in Joke. Good night.